saying we should not have women in combat roles. Now, I presume you recall making all these statements?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article you're pointing to in 2013, but it underscores my argument completely, because in that 2013 argument, I was talking about standards. Standards are what it's always been about, Senator.
This wasn't a hearing, it was a political ambush. Senator Warren came armed with clips, but Pete Hegseth came armed with the truth. If you're tired of the mainstream media twisting the narrative, hit that subscribe button right now. We're diving deep into what really happened.
I've quoted you directly. We've got the video. We're happy to show it. But I want to be clear here. For 12 years, you were quite open about your views, and your views were consistently the same. Women are inferior soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians. And in case anyone missed the point, and these are your words from 10 weeks ago, women absolutely straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat. And I notice on each of these quotes, those are said without qualification. It's not by how much you can lift or how fast you can run. They don't belong in combat, period. Or your words, straight.
Notice the immediate tactic here. Warren is attempting to frame a debate about military lethality as a personal attack on women. Hegseth explicitly mentions standards, but Warren completely ignores the word. Why? Because the moment you talk about physical standards, her argument falls apart. In the real world, combat doesn't care about feelings. It cares about who can carry the pack and win the fight. By stripping the context of meritocracy away from Hegseth's words, she isn't looking for the truth. She's looking for a soundbite to paint him as a sexist. This is the classic DC playbook. If you can't win the policy argument, attack the character.
And then, on November 9th, 2024, just 32 days after your last public comment saying that women absolutely should not be in combat, you declared that, quote, some of our greatest warriors are women, and you support having them serve in combat. Now, that is a very, very big about face in a very, very short period of time. So help me understand, Mr. Hegseth, what extraordinary event happened in that 32-day period that made you change the core values you had expressed for the preceding 12 years?
Senator, again, I very much appreciate you bringing up my comments from 2013, because for me, this issue has always been about standards. And unfortunately, because of some of the people that have been in political power for the last 4 years, priorities other than standards, lethality, and meritocracy have driven decision-making.
I'm quoting you from the podcast. Women shouldn't be in combat at all. Where is the reference to standards? That they should be there if they can carry, if they can run? I don't see that at all, Mr. Hegseth. What I see is that there's a 32-day period in which you suddenly have another description about your views of women in the military. And I just want to know, what changed in the 32 days that the song you sang is not the song you come in here today to sing?
Senator, the concerns I have and the concerns that many have had, especially in ground combat units, is that in pursuit of certain percentages or quotas, standards have been changed. And that makes the combat more difficult
for everybody involved. Let me make a suggestion about what happened in that 32 days. You got a nomination from President Trump. Now, I've heard of deathbed conversions, but this is the first time I've heard of a nomination conversion. And I hope you understand that many women serving in the military right now might think that if you can convert so rapidly your long-held and aggressively pursued views in just 32 days, that 32 days after you get confirmed, maybe you'll just reverse those views and go back to the old guy who said straight up, women do not belong in combat.
This is where the desperation starts to show. Warren is obsessed with this 32-day window, trying to frame Hegseth as a political opportunist. But look at the logic Hegseth is actually presenting. He's saying that if the standards are held high and remain identical for everyone, the best warriors will rise to the top regardless of gender. That isn't a conversion, it's a clarification of a consistent worldview centered on winning wars. Warren is projecting here. She's used to politicians who flip-flop for power, so she can't wrap her head around a leader who actually wants to prioritize combat readiness over social engineering. She's trying to sow doubt among female service members, weaponizing their service for her own political theater.
Now, Mr. Hegseth, you have written that after they retire, generals should be banned from working for the defense industry for 10 years. You and I agree on the corrosive effects of the revolving door between the Pentagon and defense contractors. It's something I would have liked to talk to you about if you'd come and been willing to visit with me. But the question I have for you on this is, will you put your money where your mouth is and agree that when you leave this job, you will not work for the defense industry for 10 years?
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because
You can
it's not
think about
one
it right
that,
now.
It's not one. My motivation for this job
I understand
has never
that. I
been
just
about
need
what
a
could
yes or no
conceivably
here.
come next.
Time is short. I just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be
In
at the Defense
other
Department.
words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals. So you're saying sauce for the goose, but certainly not sauce for the gander?
I would want to see what the policy of the
Oh,
president
I'll
is.
bet you would.
Watch the pivot. When the war on women narrative failed to make Hegseth flinch, Warren jumped to the defense industry. It's pure gotcha politics. Hegseth has been a vocal critic of the military-industrial complex for years, but Warren tries to trap him into a 10-year pledge on the spot without a policy framework in place. When he gives a measured, professional answer about consulting with the president, she calls it hypocrisy. But notice the irony. Warren has spent years in the Senate while the revolving door spun faster than ever. She doesn't want a solution, she wants a concession. Hegseth stood his ground, proving exactly why the establishment is so terrified of him taking the wheel at the Pentagon. If you think merit should matter more than politics, smash that like button and subscribe for more.